by order of the executive members. Signed, Honorary Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorary Secretary. I believe you all have read my chairman's reports that is recorded on pages 8 to 12 of the annual reports. So I will just highlight aspects of the reports. You all agree with me that we had a very dynamic and unique year in the year 2020. But as a charter, we were happy to note that we achieved so many firsts in the history of the charter. We started with our investiture. We all know how we planned for it. It was supposed to be a grand occasion, and it was to hold on Thursday, 2nd April 2020, at the Radisson Blu Anchorage Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos. It was the investiture of myself as the 10th chairman of the chapter. By God's grace, we are still able to go on with the arrangement, although we were very versatile in our adapting to the changing times. And so, for the first time in the history of the chapter, in fact, in the history of the Institute, we had our swearing ceremony virtually. This was conducted by our very own past chairman, Mr. ICSAN. And on that day, the executive committee members, consisting of a 15-man member committee, was sworn in as the next exco to lead the chapter for the next 2 years. We had the chairman of occasion as Mr. Mansour Bala, who is the group managing director and CEO of BRD Group PLC. We also had our keynote speaker in attendance, Mrs. Grace Omolomai, the director of Human Resources, Nigerian Bureaus PLC. And they all gave us very informative, exuberant, and exhortation for us to carry on as leaders who will succeed in this era. And they all reminded us that we needed to rely on agility, transparency, and forward-thinking strategies through this crisis and beyond. And we were all enabled, we were all encouraged to carry on in the mantle to lead the chapter aright. The ceremony was published by 5 news media houses. We had the Punch newspaper, we had the Nation, we had the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian, and also the This Day newspaper. And we also produced the Investiture magazine, which was circulated to all our members, which included goodwill messages, messages from supporters and donors, and also we captured different programs that were supposed to feature at the investiture. This followed with our expo retreat as the main event, another main event in the chapter, and this was also carried on virtually. It was held in 2 successive days, on the 18th of April 2020, and the following day we concluded the expo retreat. At that retreat, we constituted 2 subcommittees, the Conference and Events Planning Committee and the Flagship Editorial Committee, and we appointed chairmen to lead these committees. These committees were constituted to support the expo in achieving its mandates. As leaders, we are also reminded of the mantra that we had taken up as an expo, and we call it the 3 R's: respect, responsibility, and resilience. And we explained what this meant to us. And we have carried on this mantra throughout our tenure in the past year, that's for the year 2020. And we hope to continue with it in the forthcoming year. So, as I said, with this mantra, we are striving to do better, to act better, to learn better, to know better, and to be deliberate with our activities. In like manner, we started the first ever virtual series for the chapter, which was called the webinar series. We started off the webinar series with our first webinar that was held on the 20th of May 2020. And this was titled The Role of Corporate Governance in Ensuring Business Sustainability During and After COVID-19. We had a very erudite speaker in the person of Mr. Sheson Shobowale, FCIS, one of our key council members in the Institute, and the General Counsel, Union Bank PLC. We also had our second webinar that was held on the 28th of May 2020 that was titled COVID-19, Labor and Employment Law and the Challenges of Employers of Labor. We had two key expert speakers in the persons of Mr. Bill Boatilola, a renowned labor law expert, and Mrs. Nkechi Onyesu, one of us too, the MD CEO of Afriders International Limited and our former registrar of the Institute. Our third webinar was held on the 17th of June 2020, titled Nigerian Data Protection Regulation 2019, NDPR, Compliance and Handling of Data Breaches. We had with us our very own person, Mrs. Oyeni Mika Ketuku, the managing partner and Nouvelle Legal, and one of our EXCO committee members, and another seasoned speaker in the person of Mr. Olufemi Daniel, a technology and data law expert with NITDA and NDPR. This then followed with another key activity, and that was our business meeting. Traditionally, our business meeting has always been a physical event and a large gathering event, but this time around we had the first ever virtual business meeting, which was a huge success, especially in terms of attendance. It was held on the 26th of August 2020, and it was titled Aligning Corporate Governance with Enterprise Risk Management. We had with us, as the chairman of occasion, the erudite Dr. Emmanuel Abolo, who is the Director General of the Economic and Think Tank Center. He is the Group MD CEO, the Risk Management Academy Limited, President, Professional Speakers Society of Nigeria, and President, Institute for Governance, Risk Management and Compliance Professional. And he has won so many awards by the federal government in the risk management and compliance sector. We also had as our keynote speaker our very own Mrs. Grace Omolomai, the Director of Human Resources, Nigerian Breweries PLC, and we had as our discussant Mrs. Ese Nkadi, our very own, one of our key members as an ESCO subcommittee. She's the head governance Stanbic IBTC Holdings PLC, and it was a very fruitful business meeting indeed. We followed that by our flagship, and we launched the maiden edition of the e-flagship on the 26th of August 2020. You all can recall that this was for, it started by introducing snippets of the flagship magazine, which was a preview of what the vibrant and colorful magazine featured. We had two eminent interview sessions by our own members who have attained greater heights, in the person of Mr. Bayo Olubemi, President, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, and the MD CEO, First Registrars and Investor Services Limited, and we had our own Professor Mohammed Mustafa Akombi, Professor of Law, Vice Chancellor of the Kwara State University, and an SAN. On the 4th of November 2020, we had our first ever virtual conference, which was titled Board Diversity, Increasing Representation of Women on Corporate Boards. This occasion was chaired by Mr. Tunji Oyembaji, MD CEO One PLC, which is formerly Mobil Oil Nigeria Limited. We also had as our keynote speaker, Dr. Oladimeji Alo, the MD CEO, Excel Professional Services Limited. And we had another erudite speaker, Ms. Cecilia Akintomide, OON, Independent Non-Executive Director of the FBN Holdings PLC. As an EXCO, we embarked on various courtesy visits to give, many of which were to give our facilitators plaques, presented with plaques as a token of our gratitude for being present at a number of our occasions. We started that off with presenting plaques to Mrs. Grace Omolomai, who was our keynote speaker at the business meeting and also at the virtual investiture. This also followed by plaques that we presented to two of our executives who are moderators at our webinar series, Mrs. Folashade Akin Sire and Mrs. Chinwe Onugogu. We also had on the 25th of November a visit to Mr. Tunji Oyebanji at his office in the Double One PLC, and we presented him with a plaque. And we also presented Mr. Shisosho Bowani on the same day with a plaque, along with Mrs. Onyeka Ketuku. On the 2nd of December, we also visited Dr. Oladimeji Alo, and then we went on to visit Mrs. Nkechi Onyeso, and we presented them with plaques. To round out the year, we had as an expo a hangout. This was a winding down to re-strategize and plan for the coming year. We held this at the backyard Victoria Island, Lagos, and at that event, we presented plaques to EXO committee members who also moderated at our webinar sessions. It's worthy of note that all our webinar series sessions were moderated by members of our EXO. The chairman also gave awards to unique members of the EXO that stood out and did over and above their service during the year. This does not mean that all the EXOs did not work hard. All the EXOs worked very hard. We have our publicity secretary, Mr. Oladayo, who is also hosting us today. He has also worked very hard for the EXO. Award was presented to Mrs. Folashade Akim Sire, the treasurer, and also Mr. Shola Alamu, the chairman CPC, who were given outstanding performances as leaders in the chapter, and token gifts were given to them. As a chapter, we also presented in public functions. We had a sister chapter, the Ogun State chapter, had their inauguration of their new EXCO executive members. And this was represented by our very own Mr. Shola Alamu and Mrs. Tolu Abimbolu, CPC chair and assistant mobilization secretary, respectively. We also had regular EXCO meetings during the year, every month. At the last Saturday or Sunday of the month, we had an EXCO meetings, and all the meetings we had quorum. We had one of our members in the EXCO who had a celebration during the year, and she rebranded and celebrated the 6th anniversary of her law practice, Zuriel law practice. This happened on the 20th of November 2020, and we were there to present her as EXCO members. We had other achievements that I will also highlight briefly. We were able to record financially paid members from 113 of the previous, 39 from the previous year to 181 in the year ended 2020. Some members have called upon me to say that their names were not reflected on the list. Please bear with us. If your name was not reflected on the list, we will rectify our records. We were matching names with the financial payments as recorded in the bank statements. So that means the number actually exceeded this 181 financially paid members. We had a number of our members who attained higher achievement. Dr. Leila Hassan got a doctorate degree. We sent them letters of congratulations. We also had members who were bereaved, and we also paid respect in this line. In terms of event attendance, we were excited that the virtual events gave us that unique privilege of expanding our attendance horizon. We had people joining us even from outside the country. At some of our events, we had as many as 450 who registered for the events. So we had an average of 300 non-members, members, and invited guests who attended our programs. This was really an increase from the previous year. And so we can say COVID also played a part in this positive achievement. In terms of social media, we also increased our social media presence. In all our handles, we had Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We had active participation, and we encourage members to please continue to support our social media handles, especially viewing all our postings on YouTube. We have made use of technology, as we can see today, in improving our participation and network of members, in creating awareness in our program, and even in driving sponsorship and donations. As an EXCO, We are confident in our ability to have a greater impact for the benefit of our members. Our membership growth continues to be one of our key focal points. We are resolved to continue to increase communication in chapter events and activities. We will continue to deploy new strategies to address members' apathy and disenfranchisement. Members' complaints are being handled on a timely basis. We are also committed to continue to deliver value-added services and knowledge-based continuing education so as to boost our members' resources in their various endeavors, especially as regards their careers. We have rich programs planned out for the year, so please continue to support us and to attend all our programs. We are also braced up for the challenge ahead. We are vigilant, we are ready, we are willing, we are committed, and we are poised to drive all our goals towards a successful, stronger, and better chapter. So thank you very much. We are very grateful and humbled by all your support, especially to our past leaders of the chapter, our past chairmen who continue to hold our hands and support us in every way, giving us timely advice. We are also thankful to the National Governing Council, the President, Mr. Bode Ayeku, SCIS, our Vice President, who is also one of our chapter chairs, Mr. Taiwo Wokolade. They've been very supportive. Our secretariat staff, we say thank you, led by the able Mrs. Taiwo Oluseshi, the CEO Registrar. We are thankful for your support. I thank the members of the family of my EXO. They've been very, very patient with my executive committee members throughout the sleepless nights of planning for events. I also say thank you to my greatest sense always goes to our Heavenly Father and Creator, Jehovah, who gives us life and the ability to continue to carry out our function. So thank you all for your attention and thank you for your time and dedication. The AGM continues. We will go back to the program, the agenda, and we will now proceed with the Honorary Treasurer's reports. Honorary Treasurer, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The ICSAN Lagos State Chapter operated one current account with Access Bank PLC in the period under review, which had an opening balance of 1,019,121 naira at the beginning of the year under review. As at 1st of January 2020, the chapter also operated an investment account with Merison Money Market Fund, which had an investment sum of 1,102,800 naira inherited from the previous administration, and same was liquidated in March 2020. Total revenue generated for the year under review was 5,080,000 naira, 511 naira, as against 4,281,449 naira in the previous year ended 31st December 2019. Of the total sum of 5,080,511 naira generated in the year under review, 3,983,500 was generated from donations, adverts, and sponsorships towards the investiture of the 10th chairman and our business meeting, while the balance was generated from member subscription and participation fees at the paid business meeting held in August 2020. Total expenditure for the year under review was 2,760,815 naira, as against 3,445,615 naira in the previous year, of which the sum of 1,263,975 was expended towards the members' night held in February 2020 and the chapter's AGM in March 2020. 405,000 naira was expended towards the previous EXO's end of tenure acquisition night held in January 2020, as well as the present EXO's end of year night in December 2020. The sum of 664,000 was also expended towards the printing of the audited reports and accounts as at 31st December 2019, as well as the investiture magazine of the 10th chairman. the sum of 225,840 naira was expended towards Zoom expenses for the various webinars, investitures, business meetings, annual conferences, and other virtual events held under the period under review, including the ESCO's monthly meetings and retreats. In conclusion, the period reported an excess of income over expenditure of 2,387,860 naira as against 935,066 naira in the previous year ended 31st December 2019. Total accumulated fund was 7,844,949 naira as against 5,457,089 naira in the previous year ended 31st December 2019. Closing balance as at 31st December 2020 was 4,498,131 naira. That's the end of my report.
Thank you very much, Honorary Treasurer. So to lay the audited financial statement of accounts for the year ended 31st December 2020, together with the report of the auditors, I will now call on Mr. Olalekan Badru to read the auditor's reports. Can Mr. Olalekan Badru please be unmuted so he can read the reports of the auditors?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olalekan Badru. I hereby present the report of the independent auditors to the member of the Institute of Chartered Secretary and Administrator of Nigeria. Opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of the Institute of Chartered Secretary and Administrator of Nigeria, which comprises of the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2020, set out on page 7, which have been prepared on the basis of significant accounting policy on page 5, and other explanatory information set out on page 10 and to page 11. In our opinion, the financial statements represent fairly in all material respects the financial affairs of the Institute of Chartered Secretary and Administrator of Nigeria as at 31st December 2020, in accordance with the Company and Other Method Act, CAPC 2004, and the International Accounting Standard. Responsibility of the Council. The Council are responsible for the preparation of fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with Company and Allied Matter Act, CAPC 2004. The Financial Reporting Council, CAPC 2011, and the International Accounting Standard. For such internal control as the Council determine are necessary to enable the preparation of the financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. Auditor's responsibility. It is our responsibility to express opinion on these financial statements based on our audits. We conducted our audits in accordance with international standards on auditing. Those standards require that we comply with ethical requirements and plan and perform the audits to obtain reasonable assurance as to whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. An audit involves performing procedure to obtain audit evidence about the amount and disclosure in the financial statements. The procedure selected depends on the auditor judgment, including the assessment of the risk of material misstatements of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error. In making those risk assessments, the auditor considers internal control relevant to the entity preparation of the fair presentation of the financial statements in order to design audit procedure. These that are appropriate in these circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the entity internal control. An audit also includes evaluating the appropriateness of accounting policy used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates made by the Council, as well as evaluating the overall representation of the financial statements. We believe that the audit we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide our base of opinion. Olalekan Badru for Olalekan Sukomi and Co. Thank you very much.
Thank you, external auditor. So I hereby formally lay before this meeting the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2020. And we shall be pleased to answer any questions which you may have on the financial statements. Please, when asking any question, refer to the page in the financial statements and reports to which the question relates, as this will help to ensure that we give the right answers. I would also suggest that members be brief in their comments and also ask one question in order to afford other members opportunity to have a say. So please, will our host confirm to us if there are any questions on the chat box? Or any members raising their hand?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm going through the comments.
Seconds. Can you confirm if there's any question that we may need to address?
We haven't seen any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. IBC wants to make a comment.
Okay, just a comment. Mr. Badru, representing Ola Committee. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, please.
Okay, my name is Francis Alali. Okay, so I just wanted to make an observation. The opinion page that I just read out now, which is on page 17 of the annual reports and accounts. We are Lagos State chapter, and it's just out of a sense of responsibility we need to say this because there are also senior members of our institute who are members of the charter who will be observing. So it's just to put it on record. We are actually Lagos State chapter, and then the Lagos State chapter is governed and headed by the executive. I noticed that in your opinion, you kept referring to Institute of Charter Secretary and Administrators and referring to council. I just thought to point that out to you and put it on record so that observers can know that it's just an error, not a deliberate move by the executive of Lagos State Chapter. Thank you.
Okay, duly noted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that observation by IPC. So there be no further comments. The reports and financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2020 have been presented and members have made comments and notations. We now move to the next matter on the agenda, and that is to authorize the executive committee to fix the remuneration of the external auditors. I now move that the executive committee be hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the external auditor. Will someone please second the motion? Please state your name.
In the absence of any other comments, I, Francis Alali, hereby second the motion for the executive to fix the remuneration, for the external auditors for the year.
Thank you. So those in favor, please, you are required to click yes on the participants panel at the bottom of the screen or send yes as a chat. Those against, please, you are required to click no on the panel on your screen or send no as a chat. We will wait for confirmation from our hosts. Thank you very much. So I declare the motion unanimously carried. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal business of the annual general meeting. But before ending the meeting, we have a special business to conduct. So kindly indulge us as we quickly conduct the decoration ceremony of the chairman, presentation of plaques to the immediate past chairman. So I will quickly hand over now to the IPC to quickly do so.
Thank you very much. Our host, I think members will need to be seeing the command center here. I think you are done with the annual reports and accounts. So kindly put on your video. Thank you very much. I just put this on. This is right. I'm not the chairman, but because of this part of the business, I just have to quickly put this on. So I hope the chairman forgives me for wearing, I seek them during the time of it. It has to pass, from me to her. Thanks and accusations are never too much. Because it's supposed to have been done during the teacher. I would like to say a very big thank you to every executive that worked with me. From my VC, I would like to say something about her. The key thing about her that I enjoyed the most. I remember when we wanted to come in, she said to you people that the neck carries, the head. She's smiling. She remembers that statement. I think she did that pretty, well. And if there's anything that I learned from her, it's loyalty. So many people think on the surface, that myself and Peche just agree. It's a lie. We fight a lot. She is laughing by every treasure because she is fighting to it a lot. The one very key thing that I respected about her was that, and she traveled a lot. She could be in Heathrow and then we are saying something. She said something that by the time she's landing, JF Kennedy, she's spitting fire. After spitting fire, and I give it back to her. The end of the statement is always my chair. Where are we going? That statement usually, always ended it. And I thought to mention that here. I wish this was the investiture day. I was going to make a big deal. I could be a drama king. I was going to make a big deal, about this. But I can't, pass this insignia without saying that thank you very much. And when she was coming on board, you remember that members' night when I stepped out of, the chair and told her that it's a song. You notice that I was standing right behind, the chair. It was symbolic. I was trying to say to her, look at your back. She has the executive working with her. You look at your back. You always, find me there. She gave me that loyalty. I'll give that, to her. I want to say thank you to all my executives. My mobilization secretary, who is now the honorary treasurer, is here. I remember my CPC, the late end, Yetiku, she's here, honorary secretary. Mr. Femi Shoko, Efosa Iwere, Joke Adeyemi, everybody in flagship, Karate Ketefe, thank you guys. Your certificates of honor are here. I'm going to be handing them over so that you get them. So on that note, by the power of faith then of me as the then chairman of Lagos State Chapter, I'm hereby decorating our able, 10th chairman of the chapter. I think the chapter should pay me for keeping this safe, for the past, 1 year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Then she's going to, I'm also going to make a presentation to her. She will make a presentation to me as well. I was just thinking, so since I have 2 people here, to represent all of the people, I have here, and I have, that they can as well present their own certificates while others, get theirs later. She was a member of, the CPC, and then the particular conference that we held, the last one at PwC, I just, did an experiment, got herself, I did doing, and this guy in Brooklyn, I brought them in, and then I asked her, so what are you going to do? She said she'll take care, of the answer. I think she did that, pretty well. So on behalf of the chapter, I'm saying thank you. I'm presenting this certificate of honor to you, Yimika Ketiku, ACIS, for selfless and exemplary service, as member conference planning committee between August 2019 to October 2019. Thank you. And then 2 big ones. They are my island.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Apologies. There seems to be a slight issue at the venue. They're just trying to reconnect. So if you just give us like a minute or two, we should be back on very shortly. Please, our sincere apologies for the break in transmission.
So I was saying technology issues. So I was saying that on behalf of the chapter, we want to thank KG Arima SCIS, Mrs. For exemplary leadership and then for the support she gave, the then administration, and then on behalf of the governing council, on behalf of the members of Lagos State Chapter, on behalf of the executives of Lagos State Chapter. February 2018 to February 2020, we are saying a very big thank you to you. Accept our token of appreciation. So I think my assignment is done.
Okay, this is quite heavy. Words have failed me because words alone cannot. Words have failed me because words alone cannot express all that you are as a true leader. You have shown time and time again that leadership is not just about age, it's about capacity. It's about also brewing and breeding other leaders, and this you have done. You have sincerely raised others to follow in your footsteps. You have raised amazing leaders because you are an amazing leader yourself. So, on behalf of the chapter, on behalf of the Executive Council members of the National Institute, you are a national treasurer, so you continue to bear the flag of the chapter anywhere you go. You are a true representative of the chapter, and many look upon you as aspiration. So we thank you so much, Francis Olawale, SCIS. You are one of us. You will always remain one of us. You are now the immediate past chairman of the chapter. You are one of the lords of the chapter. So now we are giving you the honorary conferment of grandfather. We have forefathers. You are now grandfather of the chapter. So we honor you with this plaque. This plaque is small compared to what you have given to the chapter. But this is just a representative of our token as a flagship bearer in the chapter. Thank you so much. So that's my successor from you. I'm also going to honor him with, we are inducting you in the very revered Hall of Fame of past chairmen of the chapter. You are now the 9th person we are giving this induction to the Hall of Fame too.
Thank you.
And so, whenever you wear this, whenever you look at it, whenever you see it, you remember that your service was not in vain. You did a lot, and the chapter, even for time to come, will continue to look back and remember your good name. They will remember your true leadership. They will remember all your sacrifice and hard work for the chapter. And we will continue to do you proud. You remain with us, our backbone. Francis,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members, for bearing with us. Thank you for bearing with us through the technology hurdle. It's one of those things that we see whenever we are doing a virtual events. You cannot control technology, you can only move with the times and adapt. So we've come to the conclusion of our annual general meeting for the year 2021. Distinguished members, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you immensely for your time, as well as the opportunity, cooperation, and confidence that you have reposed in me, my executive committee members, the conference and event planning committee members, the flagship committee members, and also, especially our backbone, we have a lot of advisors. We call them the advisory council, the league of past chairmen, that are always ready to handle, give us advice and hold our hands at every point in time. We thank you for all that you have reposed in us to continue to direct and manage the affairs of your chapter, our chapter. Please watch out everyone for our March webinar series. It's coming up later next month. And we wish that everybody please register to attend this webinar series. We want to wish every one of us a fruitful week and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much, and then the host can now end the meeting.